Hello everyone, I'm Sujan Abraham, a senior engineer at Labelbox. Today I'd like to take you through our no-code data pipeline integration, using which you can import data from over 25 sources, including BigQuery, Databricks, Snowflake, Google Sheets, and many more. To achieve this, we have introduced a powerful new feature powered by Census, a third-party service. Let's dive into a quick demo to see how easily you can bring your data into Labelbox from your data warehouse. In this demo, we'll show you how you can import data from Google Sheets into Labelbox. First, let's take a look at the Google Sheet. Here I have a sheet with around 22 images that I want to import into Labelbox. The sheet has two columns that mimic most databases where assets are stored, a primary key and the URI of the asset. We'll use the sheet as our source to import data into Labelbox. To begin, log into the Labelbox application. You'll see various options for adding data to Labelbox, such as the UI, SDK, Cloud Bucket, and via the different sources. Let's click on Sync from a Source option. You're taken to the integrations page here. Let's again click on the Sync from a Source option here. Here you are taken to a page where you can see different sources such as Databricks, BigQuery, GCP, Google Sheet, MySQL, and so on. For this demo, let's use Google Sheet as our source. Click on the Google Sheet. Next, let's configure the Google Sheets account. The first step is to give Census access to the Google Sheet. We do that by sharing the Google Sheet with Census. Let's click the Continue button here and copy the service account that's shown on the next page. Let's copy this service account and add it as contributors in the Google Sheet. Let's go here, go to the Share button and add the Google service account and do a send. So this step enables Census to now access the Google Sheet. Now let's click the Continue button. Census will then test the connection to ensure that it can access the source, which is the Google Sheet. Here we see that the connection is successful. Let's now press the Finish button to finalize the source configuration. Now we say that the source has been successfully created. Let's now rename this to something meaningful. I'll name it Labelbox Google Sheet Integration. Sheet integration. Now that we have successfully configured the source, let's move on to the next step, which is creating the sync. Click on the Sync Integration button shown here, and we are taken to this page. And here you see an option to create a data set. In Labelbox, every asset imported is associated with a data set. So let's first create a data set. Give it a meaningful name. Here I'll use the name as Census Demo and press the Create button. Now you see that Labelbox has created a data set and it has populated the data set ID. We'll use this at a later stage, so let's copy this data set ID for now. Now let's move on to configuring the integration. In the Select a Source section, let's click Select Warehouse Table. Here you see that the connection name Labelbox Google Sheet Integration is pre-populated. Let's select the spreadsheet. So I'll select Sujan Census Demo, which is the source of our data. And let's select the sheet, which is Sheet 1. So if you go back to the Google Sheet, you see that Sujan Census Demo is the name of the sheet, and the Sheet 1 is where you have the data. Let's go back to the configuration. And so now that you have selected the source details, let's look at the destination. Destination is basically Labelbox. That's where you want to bring your data. And data row is the object that we want to create. And now let's move on to the sync behavior. You see here that there are 4 different options that we support. One is create only, which, as the name says, is only create only operations. So if you want to just sync create only behaviors, you select the create only. And So with the update only, if you just want to sync the updates to your assets, you select the update only. Update or create would handle either. So if you want to handle all the sync behaviors, sync all the creates or updates into Labelbox, you select the update or create, or as we call it, it's an upsert operation. And if you want to handle any deletions from your system or your source, select the delete sync. So in this example, let's select the upsert option. So the next step is to select a sync key. Sync is basically the primary key in your data source. So in this case, the Google Sheet has the primary key here, and let's select that, the primary key, and assign that to the global key. Global key is a field in Labelbox that will keep a track of your primary key. So once you have selected the sync key, let's do the mappings. Map the URI of the asset to the raw data field. So here we see that the raw data, or the field here, which has the URI of the asset, is already pre-populated. So let's map that to the raw data field, which is automatically done here. And the next thing we need to do is map a data set ID. So let's copy this data set ID that we created earlier and go to this Dropbox and select the constant value, and let's paste the constant value here. So this means that any asset created or data row created using this sync behavior will have this data set ID. That's it. We have configured everything needed to sync data from Google Sheets to Labelbox. Let's test it by clicking the Run Test button. So let's confirm this again. Click the Run Test button. Census will now try to get the first record in the Google Sheet. So it'll try the first record in the Google Sheet and try to sync it to Labelbox. This step takes a few seconds, so I'll just pause and wait for it to complete. Okay, we see this after a couple of seconds that the sync test has succeeded. So it has fetched a record from the data source and it has loaded into Labelbox. And it shows you the details of the global key that's loaded and the raw data. Let's now go to the Labelbox and verify this. So if you go to Labelbox and go to the catalog, you should see this data row. So now you see that the data set we created called census demo here, and this data row has been created under that data set. So this means that the test has been successful. So now let's move on and click the next button. So the next step is selecting a run mode. So you can have various types of run modes. So let's check the triggered mode. So triggered mode is basically setting up a trigger, which is you can set a scheduled, sequence run, or a manual. A schedule is basically you can schedule it to run at various intervals, weekly, daily, hourly, every 15 minutes, and so on. So for this demo, let's just do a manual sync. So I'll click the manual sync and select the create button. So now it's shown that the sync has been successfully created. So now Census will again take a few seconds or minutes to start syncing the data into Labelbox. Now that we have successfully created a Google Sheet integration with Labelbox, let's now check Labelbox to see if the assets have appeared in Labelbox catalog. Let's go to the catalog page. So here I'm already in the catalog page. Let me refresh. And yep, we see that all the assets have appeared in the catalog. So now if you go back to the source and if you add something new here, so if you add something new and do a manual sync here, since we configured a manual sync, the images will start appearing in catalog. And if you have configured a scheduled trigger, which is automatic trigger that keeps syncing every few minutes or hours. Then data will automatically appear whenever your source data is populated. That's all for now. We hope this guide has provided you with enough knowledge to efficiently import and manage your data. If you have any further questions or need assistance, please feel free to reach out to our support team. Have a great day. Thank you.